So welcome to this video in which we're going to take a look at how your narcissistic mother is actually not her age when it comes to her emotional maturity. In fact, her development got arrested. She got traumatized and arrested at a very, very early stage in her life, at toddlerhood, potentially even earlier as a baby. But she's now then functioning in many ways emotionally as a toddler. And this is very confusing. It's not something that we can see. She can be a well-functioning adult on so many other ways. But it's when you come into a close relationship or you have emotional needs and need her there, like when you are a child, or also if you are a spouse in a close family relationship with her, or friendship as well, that's when you really get to experience this side of her. Let's give you the map so that it's easier for you to see it and to avoid expecting and relating to her as if she is emotionally more mature than what she is, because that's only going to hurt you. So point number one is that this is probably the worst thing, is that like a toddler, they don't really have an awareness of, they don't have emotional mature awareness of themselves and insight into their own psyche and into other people. It's all really a blind area to them. And the problem is that when you have an adult who is lacking, a narcissist who is lacking awareness and insight into how they affect other people, into relationships and so on, then you get emotional immaturity without any awareness, without any insight, which means that she ends, if there's no awareness, no insight, no ownership, no accountability, then she's going to carry on being abusive. She's going to carry on harming and hurting you. So it's really important that you see it and that you protect yourself with a person like this. So when she doesn't have any awareness and insight, she won't be taking any accountability. She won't be meeting you halfway. She won't be taking responsibility. So it's all on you. It's all excuses, and it's all externalizing, like pointing fingers in other directions, and never going inside of herself and looking into her own contributions. So how are you going to get anything resolved with a person like this? It's really, really difficult. So that's a toddler matures hopefully and grows out of this with good enough emotional and other care. But a person who's an adult and a narcissist has not got access to this. So that's what you're dealing with. The toddler inside who lacks awareness inside your mother. So point number two is that everything revolves around them. Just like small kids, they relate to everything in terms of themselves, as if the world revolves around them. So it's like there is a stage when you have a small child, which is a natural stage, where they're like the king and queen, potentially, like they are, everything that they need is taken care of, hopefully, and so on. And others come running when they have an issue and so on. The problem is when you have a woman in her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and up to 80s, 90s, and so on, still acting this way. It's not so charming as it is with a toddler. And it's not a relationship you're in. There's no space for you. There's no space for your feelings in this. So that if you come and you have, perhaps you want to share something, or you have a need of something when you're a child and you go to her, she'll just fob you off. She'll make it about herself. It doesn't land with her because she only relates to herself. So point number 3, so just like a toddler, she will have tantrums. So that means that she's highly emotional and reactive, and she's not very good at delaying what she wants. If she wants something, she wants it now, just like a toddler. So a toddler can be a handful to deal with when they really go all the way out with their feelings. But when you have a narcissistic mother and you're a child and you have her being really reactive and angry on the other side and having all the capabilities that an adult has, and the relationship that she has, has the power in the relationship with you as the child, then you have a real problem on a completely different level. So she will be really reactive. She doesn't get what she wants, and she may guilt trip you, give you silent treatment. She can, there are so many different ways that she can react to you. So a toddler doesn't really, this is point number 4, a toddler doesn't really have a real sense of where they begin, where you end, where your boundaries are, how you feel inside. So there's like things like boundaries and empathy and so on. They just haven't gotten to that point where they have developed to experience that yet. And your mother hasn't either. So she is, she might have learned later on a more sort of cognitive empathy that she can use also to hurt you and control you, because she lacks that empathy. So the normal ways of being, that we feel what is right and what is wrong, and we stay away from hurting other people. Well, if you don't have that felt sense of empathy, then you don't have those mechanisms in you, so you can cross boundaries that other people cannot. And so she doesn't see you as a separate person. She may walk all over you. She may force her will on you. She may discredit you as a person, come with her own perspective, feed that into you. So there's all kind of, with narcissists, they don't understand that sort of two people separateness idea. They do enmesh with other people. They do get really close to people, and then they really push people away as well. So it's all like a toddler that way, and that's also how she is operating. So no wonder then that you get problems with knowing yourself, that you get problems with boundaries, that you get a lot of doubt about yourself and problems to understand who you are and so on. And also what kind of expectations you have in relationships and so on. It's very common for people to struggle with boundaries, relationships, themselves and so on after having a narcissistic mother. And sometimes what I see as a therapist, a lot of people carry on unknowingly having patterns that invite continued dysfunction into their life. So one of the classics that I see a lot, and that people are more or less aware of, but usually not to the full extent of what this is going on, is continuing to invalidate themselves in the same way as they were invalidated by the narcissistic mother. And if you want to make sure that you don't carry on this pattern, so that you carry on this relationship dysfunction in your adult life, then I've created a quiz which will just simply give you some awareness of where you're at in this and give you lots of examples, and just that awareness can already help you step out of some of these patterns. So there's a link underneath this video or in the video description to that self-invalidation quiz. You can grab that. Point number 5 is that she doesn't have empathy yet. Like a toddler, they do develop through their development, hopefully, normally, as in understanding that other people feel hurt by things that we do, and that we need to consider them, and that we need to learn to understand how other people feel and to imagine us being in their shoes and so on. But this is where she's like a toddler. She hasn't come to this stage yet. She doesn't do that. She doesn't have you on her radar, what's going on for you. This is what I experienced with my mother being in, when there was a war between, I was on holiday in Qatar, and there was a war between the US and Iran last summer. It was just a few days, but there was bombs falling where we were, and I've never experienced that in my whole life. And my mother was calling me on my holiday to arrange for her birthday, and completely ignoring the fact that we were right close to where there were bombs falling. So that's why she doesn't have empathy. She's not able to put herself in the shoes of you, which is really, really difficult. And that's exactly what we need as children, to be able to grow up into well-functioning adults ourselves. Point number 6 is that she lacks guilt and shame and morality. This hasn't come yet. This hasn't developed yet. It's slowly developing early in our childhoods, but she's not at toddlerhood at a stage where she has a normal sense of shame, a normal sense of guilt, and so on. So she's free of those things. And also she does, whatever she does have, whatever she does carry truthfully inside of herself, but that she's not aware of, since she doesn't have awareness and insight into herself, this gets pushed out and projected onto other people, and especially if you're a scapegoat in a family system with her. So what happens then if we don't feel shame, if we don't have guilt? Well, we can just go about as a toddler doing all kind of things and not feeling bad about ourselves, not having the normal decency and morality. And a toddler just needs to learn this, because there's nothing wrong with them. They just need to learn this. But there is a problem when you have a mature woman going about being in this way. And there's especially a problem if this is your mother. My heart goes out to you, and I've been there myself, and it's a really, really difficult place to be in. So what happens then on the other side of all of this? Well, what often happens is that you become like a small adult. You become like a small parent. You become someone who's outwardly focused on her. You lose connection to yourself, both because you have to survive and you have to become so present to where she's at, and how you need to satisfy and please her the whole time, but also because you aren't seen. So you do get deep injuries in all of these areas of having the correct truth about your life and your upbringing, connecting with your true self, connecting with your inner world, emotional regulation, how much feeling you can allow yourself to feel, if it's safe or not, safety, trust, doubt, self-doubt, boundaries and relationships, and repetitional dynamics of these relationships, too much guilt, too much shame that isn't yours, over responsibility. There's a whole package here. So if you want help with this, I've already told you, you can get my quiz. And if you're also interested in my 12-week healing journey, you can find my email in the description of this video, and you can, if you get that quiz, you will be on my email list, so you will get information about the healing program when that comes up again, because I have a 12-week healing journey which can really help you with this to heal. And that was it, and I hope to see you again, and I wish you all the best. Bye bye.